Hello everyone and welcome to Watch News Weekly. Today we have a different face on the show. I brought in Anna, aka the Queen of Luxury Bazaar, to talk about one very cool concept. We're going to run through some new models because we have to do that on Watch News Weekly. I feel like we got to put the news out there in case you guys haven't heard about some of these new models. Some exciting, one very exciting one, and some not so exciting. But the main thing is we're going to do predictions. Now, prediction is not something that I like doing because it's like everybody does predictions for Basel or Watches and Wonders now, and they don't come around. So let's call it prediction / wishful thinking. And
wish list.
Wishful thinking. Did I say wish list? I said wish list. That was a Freudian slip. I feel like wishful, right? Because wish list, that means that won't happen. But in either case, I'm going to jump right into and get Anna's take on some of these new models, and then we'll talk about the main topic for today, and that is wishful thinking for new and upcoming models for 2024. Zenith dropped a lightweight titanium version of its Chronomaster Sport watch. Made out of titanium instead of traditional seals. You can get it on a bracelet. You can get it on multicolor straps. Blah, 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 blah. Let's pull up the picture. Anna?
Nice Daytona.
literally? When I saw that, that's literally what came to my mind. But take that with a grain of salt because I actually think it's a really nice watch.
I think it's really
Yes,
cool.
It definitely, certainly, most likely looks like the Daytona. The 2Q of some of the newer models they just came out with sort of 3 different colors and a subdials, which I'm not a big fan of. I felt like if this watch...
kind of reminds me of like a mother of pearl dial.
It does. But again, it could be the picture, it could be the rendering. But notice how the 3 subdials, or the chronograph subdials and the minute hand subdial, they're different colors. I wish they
always used to do that.
But remember, they used to do it in different colors, like it was red and green and yellow. But look at the one at 6 o'clock. If they made all of them like that and it would match the dial, I wish they disappeared more.
I want to see it in person. It's something that you
I have
to see.
2 on order. No, I don't. But like Anna said, nice Daytona. Let's go to the next new release, and that's going to be the Urwerk Lightspeed. Not something we haven't seen before, with the exception that this is now in a more traditional 43 millimeter diameter case. Now it's a galactic themed dial, and what the watch actually shows is something extremely useful. How long does it take for a ray of light from the sun to reach the Earth along with the surface of the planets?
It's very useful.
How often? You use that, every Tuesday?
All the time.
all the time. Let's put
In fact, I wish I could see it right now.
Well, your Rolex doesn't do that. I'm sorry. Let's go to the picture of the watch. What are your general thoughts about this watch? Because this isn't like, when you think Urwerk, you think cubes, right? And as of late, they've kind of gone down to that, mimicking the Wandering Hours, which is what Urwerk was inspired by to begin with. Thoughts on this?
I mean, I kind of like the size, and I feel like people are kind of going back to the smaller case sizes.
That's been a thing over the last couple of years. Is this something you can see yourself wearing?
No.
No? Is it why? Too busy?
I think it's too busy for me.
Too masculine, maybe? I know you wear men's watches, but...
It's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
You heard it here first. She's not a fan. So ladies, if you're watching, you probably won't like this, but let's go to the next one.
I doubt any ladies are going to.
Beauvais, and this is somewhat exciting, not the most exciting one, but Beauvais Pininfarina Aperta 1. Aperta means open in Italian. Now, Pininfarina is a design powerhouse, most famous for designing the Pininfarina Ferrari. They've been around since 1930. They're almost 100 years old. Okay, for those of you not familiar with Beauvais, what do we call them? A Transformers, right? Because this watch could be a watch, it could be a pocket watch, it could be a clock a necklace, something standing on your desk. Super popular pre-08 when every Russian and their mother called us for Beauvais.
Everyone.
They kind of jumped on a bandwagon. Retails were stupid high on them mostly, and they sold at high discounts. And then when the Russian market died, we feel like the brand died.
The discount wasn't that high. It was probably around like 35 off.
No, I remember later, at a later stage, we were getting them like a 45. And then the closeouts came. We're buying the stuff cents on a dollar. When the Russian market died, I feel like the brand kind of died off. And it's not their fault. When you have your eggs mostly in one basket, this is usually what's going to happen, right? It's like, I know dealers, remember OJ, he used to sell a lot of Panarais.
Yep.
And he had most of his eggs in one basket. When Panerai kind of fell off, so did OJ's business, right?
So did everybody else that did Panerais.
Exactly. We always try to diversify for that very reason. But I've always been a fan of Beauvais due to the fact that, first of all, they're finishing. Each movement goes through at least 10 hours of hand finishing. You have craftsmanship is second to none. This particular one is done in titanium. Everybody's jumping on the titanium bandwagon. Rolex did the
Yachtmaster.
The Yachtmaster in titanium. Now everybody, the Omega's doing titanium. Obviously, Zenith is doing titanium. What I do like about this watch is aesthetics, and this is come in yellow and blue. This is the blue. This is the blue version.
This I would wear.
This is a gorgeous, gorgeous watch. One of the things I've always said about Beauvais is they make gorgeous watches. Now, this is more of a sporty watch, but remember their dressy, their tourbillons, the hand engraved ones. I mean, they were
rose
double
gold were
faced. I mean, they were
beautiful.
just gorgeous. And this is absolutely gorgeous. But again, who designed it? Pininfarina designed it. So you expect it to have this sporty, sleek, just well designed watch, and it's also very well made. Do you think this could be a comeback for Bovet? Because the retail price is only $57,000. It's not like it used to be where the retails were outrageous.
I don't think it's gonna, get a comeback with one watch, honestly. But it is a beautiful piece.
The thing with Bovet, they were very, very niche. It's that big pocket watch look, right? The crown at 12 o'clock, the fact that they flip over, the fact that you can pull them out, put up the chain, and the whole to-do. Is there a way where Bovet reinvents themselves and comes back?
I think so. Trends change. Who knows?
Trends do change. This is definitely a beautiful watch. Let's move on to the last one, and this is the pleasant surprise. It's actually, no, this is not the Omega. We're talking about the Omega Seamax, the Planet Ocean Boutique Exclusive Edition. Okay, because if it wasn't enough, if they didn't make enough watches now, they made 2 more, okay? Seamaster Planet Ocean 600 meters, only available from the brand's boutiques. Wow. They made it in 2005 at first. Again, this is a 43 and a 45.5 millimeter range. And what do? They go to titanium. Again, they jumped on a green bandwagon.
Not impressed, honestly.
I mean,
looks
it's something
like any other watch.
It's something we've seen before.
Yeah.
Now, the green has been a big thing. Last couple of weeks, I've been doing these with Marco. Every brand is out there jumping on the green bandwagon. We saw the LVMH
I
release.
like the shade of green, and it gives me like the Hulk vibes, but it looks like any other watch out there, meaning Omega.
And I'm not sure about that slate gray dial on the green one, to be fair. Green is it now, so you're going to see this from every other company. Let's go to the next one. That's going to be my very, very pleasant surprise, the Roger Dubuis Homage Perpetual Calendar. Now, Roger Dubuis, we remember Roger Dubuis going back to pre-LVMH, pre-Richemont Group, where they were making the Sympathy Perpetuals, the much, much more, the ladies' pieces. They were making,
much more.
Much more, right? They were unique to who they are. It's like, you look at an Urwick is unique to Urwick. You won't see that any other brand. And Roger Dubuis was sort of that. You can unmistakably see Roger Dubuis due to mainly retrograde. If you think about it, every watch had some kind of retrograde. Annual calendar, perpetual calendar. There was some kind of a retrograde going on somewhere, somehow. Jump out.
And the shapes.
And of course, then the shapes, right? The big rectangles, the big squares, and then of course the Sympathy, which is my favorite and is now highly, highly collectible. Everything was limited to like 28, 88, 8 pieces. It was a very, very small production line. Then they got bought over.
Actually, Roger Dubuis Too Much was the first watch I ever sold.
Really?
It had a pink strap on it. It was really ugly.
Well, again, they get bought over. Before they get bought over, there's closeouts left and right. This stuff is selling cents on a dollar. It was just a mess for the brand. It was just a shame because they do make, horologically, they're a great company. The movements that they make, they all have COSC certificates. They always created horologically masterpieces. It was also very, very limited. And again, this time
88 pieces?
Huh?
To 88 pieces?
See, the thing of it is they play to the Asian market humongously because every limited edition was 28, 88, 8. It was always ending with 8. And that resonated obviously with the Asian community because that's the lucky number, right? Now, this particular watch, if you want to talk about horology, calibrated to half beats of the balance. The smallest accurate measurement is an 18K VBHB, right? So this is a big deal horologically. Let's look at the watch.
Let's see it. Oh, wow.
Is that something you would wear?
Yes, for sure.
So wishful thinking, first of all, dial.
I mean, they're not making it for the,
look at the
ladies.
dial.
Anyway,
look at the dial.
It's beautiful.
The dial is gorgeous. The case is gorgeous. Everything about it is gorgeous. I sort of wish if they were going to come.
Kind of giving me like JLC vibes a little bit.
I don't know. I think that, no. I see Roger Dubuis. Well, maybe because we know it's Roger Dubuis.
Right.
Here's my take on this. If I'm looking at this watch and I'm saying, okay, this is Roger Dubuis, because I've been talking about this for a couple of years now. I wish Roger Dubuis would go back to their roots because they started doing these extreme sports watches, Lamborghini type watches, the Spiders, all that stuff. And I love them, don't get me wrong. But I said, go back to your roots. Bring back the classic Roger Dubuis that original Dubuis collectors know. And I think timing is perfect because right now, some of the older Roger Dubuis stuff has gone up in value. I need the original 37 millimeter Sympathies with the shaped crystal. They're going for buku dollars. You can't find them anywhere.
Right.
And collectors are snapping them up. So I think this is going to appeal to those collectors who maybe bring back some of those old Roger Dubuis buyers. By doing this, I wish that they would do what Daniel Roth did. You know, how they remade the original tourbillon that he made to spec 1-to-1. I wish they did this perpetual in a sympathy case with the shaped crystal.
Cool.
But just happy to see him go back to their roots. Now, let's talk about the important topic. Predictions. Now, I hate doing predictions because they never come true. So we're not going to call this predictions. We're going to call this somewhat wishful or wishless thinking, however you want to call it. And you know, we're not going to go across every brand. I'm just going to jump out and I'm going to talk about Patek Philippe. Now, it's no secret that you know, yellow gold is slowly creeping its way back. We recently received a 5740 perpetual Nautilus in white gold, blue dial. My wishful thinking and my prediction is we see that in a different metal. Now, whether they choose rose gold or yellow gold stands to question. I would love for them to bring it in yellow gold. Any prediction for Patek?
Maybe even green dial yellow gold.
Oh, stop with the green. I mean, I wouldn't be. You know, Patek doesn't have to jump on that bandwagon,
Right.
although they did as well. With their green sucks. Their 5711 green looks black.
Just like AP's green dial.
Well, it depends on which one.
Not the yellow.
Yeah,
not
the yellow one was
gold.
great, but the last one was like.
The last one, it's not. It looks gray from the side. It's.
What are your predictions or wishful thoughts on Patek this year?
I actually would like to see a yellow gold ladies Nautilus.
Yellow gold ladies Nautilus. Now,
They have a rose.
I mean,
and
the only
steel.
option really you have today, as a lady, if you want something small, it would be like a vintage 3800 in yellow gold.
Right.
A yellow gold
Something
ladies
newer,
Nautilus.
something fresh.
Now, would you do this plain or would you add diamonds to it?
I would do plain.
And what dial?
I wanted to say green, but
Green yellow gold? Blue yellow gold?
blue yellow gold.
Blue yellow
Yeah.
gold ladies Nautilus.
30, like this 3700.
Now, we know that you just continued the engraved piece, the 50, I don't remember the reference number. We just got one of those in. They discontinued the engraved perpetual calendar they had in a lineup. So obviously they're probably going to replace that with something else. And I would love to see what that looks like. I would love to see what type of engraving they're going to use, how, you know, which model they're going to use to come out with this high complication, technically a application piece. It is an application piece,
Right.
engraved item. With them discontinuing Nautiluses on a strap, do you think we're going to see other Nautiluses on straps?
I hope so. I mean.
They weren't really good sellers, though, if you think about it. If you go back to a normal market, you know, Nautiluses on a strap were always like, eh. You couldn't give away a 5711 on a strap.
Right. I wish it would be a little bit cheaper than what they're going for.
But look, we've seen 5980 on a strap. We've seen 5712s on a strap. We've seen 5711s on a strap, all precious metals. Is there a world where Patek goes titanium and Nautiluses, you think?
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, but
Listen, every company jumps on a bandwagon. Titanium seems to be the hot thing. What else can you do outside of coming out with a bigger 5712?
57.
When the trends are smaller.
Right. That's a great question.
So I don't know what the replacement is going to be for Nautiluses on a strap. I would love to see a 5712 white gold on a bracelet, like they did with the 5712 rose.
I feel like it's essentially the same watch.
Yeah, Nico had a piece unique 5712 rose gold on a bracelet. It was one-off. It was custom order for an important client that Patek actually made him one on a bracelet.
Right. Maybe something in platinum. Something else other than the 5711.
I mean, the last platinum watch was seen in a Nautilus was the anniversary piece, the 57th anniversary, right? We just had one of those recently too, and yeah, I don't disagree. I don't.
Maybe
disagree.
a 5990 in platinum.
Ooh, 59.
That's going to be heavy though.
I'd love to see the 5980 in yellow. But I think, bluntly put, do you think we see a new Nautilus? Not an existing model in different metals, but something new.
I mean, we definitely need something new. That's for sure.
Look, we have a chrono.
Right.
We have a dual time. We have the moon phase power reserve. We have the plain one. We have the perpetual
Maybe I'll
calendar.
do, you know what? The 5261, the newer model. I would love to see the Aquanaut. I would love to see that on the bracelet. The Sakharov bracelet.
The problem is I've always had an issue with Aquanaut bracelets. I always felt
bracelets?
like they were so ugly.
I mean, they're not ugly, but they do not compare to the Nautilus one.
Not the bracelet. No comparison to Nautilus. No comparison to Royal Oak bracelet. No comparison to the Daytona bracelet.
Right.
Or maybe they reworked the bracelet.
Exactly.
Good idea. What about AP?
AP.
Ooh, because AP has the greatest blank canvas in the world, the Royal Oak, and I can't think of a complication that watch didn't come in, starting from minute repeaters and tourbillons and perpetuals and combination thereof and chronographs and so on and so forth. AP to me has always been the leader when it comes to using materials, right? When it comes to making bold statements, starting with things like rubber, ceramics, carbon fiber, all these different materials that they've always been the pioneer in. We're in the world where we're going to see, I can't even think of anything new they can possibly think of. I mean, are they going to make a watch out of wood? I mean, they're not going to do that, right? So maybe you think that they'll introduce a new color?
Well, that was my next suggestion, is maybe like colors for ladies. They used to have, like, the purple royal oak, the lime green offshores for ladies. Right now, they
goes back to when me and you started.
Right.
So here's the thing is,
and there's demand for that.
so we're going slightly smaller. The royal oaks have gotten smaller, right? Even the offshores have gotten somewhat smaller. So now we're talking about a line that historically, if you think about it, that's what they experimented with at the time where bigger was better when it came to bolder colors.
True.
Volcano, Bumblebee, for example,
Safari.
right? That was Safari, like all those funky colors. Do you think they could somehow translate that into a royal oak? Because right now what we're stuck with royal oaks with single colors: green, blue, white, black.
And that green is horrible. Just
And now
horrible.
think of
I wish it would be a little bit like the olive green, like in the day-date. That would be amazing on the royal oak.
I would love to see a line of royal oaks on straps that's going to go backwards and mimic some of the older stuff where it's not the entire dial is orange, like the Volcano tachometer scale is orange, the subdials. Introduce different pops of color into the royal oak line, perhaps on a strap. Now they have the interchangeable strap system, introduce that into the royal oak, and maybe try something like that. Because
and please stop using satin straps for royal oak ladies.
Oh my God, those straps are the worst. They literally like crack and break, and then you have to replace. Remember the one?
Yes.
It was a strap that had like
a strap with the buckle with the flowers and the diamonds.
And the flowers were knitted into the strap.
It's a millinery collection, actually.
No, it was a royal oak that had the different diamonds.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
That thing was
We have
horrendous.
to find a picture of that, actually.
When we got
it was horrendous,
when we got those watches in, remember we used to take off those straps and put on normal straps because we knew that it's just going to come back, get ripped, and we would never be able to replace it. But it was like crochet on, like
crochet.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was.
So for AP, I'd love to see them continuing with the code 1159 line, and I would
maybe a ladies ceramic.
What would do? They do with diamonds, but they do have ladies. They have the 34 millimeter ceramics.
They do, but something like maybe a different color. Do they have?
What about a ladies? Remember back in the day how they used to make these really pretty Jules Audemars for ladies they were diamond encrusted with beautiful dials. They used to do a lot of ladies pieces, even in the Edward Piguet line and the Millenary line, because I think the Millenary line, the Millenary with the stars and the moon, it was called Star Sky. You know which one I'm talking about?
I do.
That watch was absolutely gorgeous, and it still is absolutely gorgeous. Do something within the code 1159.
Yeah.
For ladies, there's nothing there that really a lady could wear. What are your thoughts on bringing back some of the older lines, perhaps Edward Piguet?
No.
Well, of course you said it because it never sold well.
It never sold well. It actually, I wasn't a fan of how it looks. I mean,
I liked some of them.
I like the turbs, the older turbs.
Yes, those with the fancy stones that they use in the dials.
With the mustache and the dial.
But in reality, for Audemars Piguet, the only thing we have to fall back on is going to be, again,
I am a fan of millenaries for ladies.
Yeah, they are.
I'm a huge fan.
They are
Something
pretty
like
watches.
on the bracelet or even on the rubber strap, a nice millenary, sporty one.
The one time they tried to do the millenary on the bracelet, the open work millenary, it was like the ladies' version of the 4101, and they put on the ugliest bracelet. They put it on this mesh bracelet.
Like something like a nice bracelet with interchangeable like rubber straps that look amazing.
Again, bring the interchangeable stuff into the ladies' Royal Oak line and give me some pop of color. But in reality, I think we're going to see more of the same. We're going to see more of ceramics because they know it sells like hotcakes. We're going to see more of rainbow. We're going to see, I don't know if we're going to see more, do you think we'll see more frosted? Or do you think that kind of is dying out?
It feels like it's dying out.
Watch, they're going to bring in a frosted perpetual calendar rainbow. You'll see. I'm telling you, because it's just like at this point it works. Let's slap it all together. Plus, don't forget they're under the direction of
a purple ceramic perpetual.
Purple ceramic perpetual, aka the Barney. Listen, they're under the direction of a new CEO, and this lady has a very impressive resume. She may want to shake things up. She may want to.
So.
She may want to cut production because it's just too many variations at this point. But Rolex.
Ooh, I don't know.
So for Rolex, they discontinued, let's see, they discontinued the OPs.
They did not discontinue the GMTs.
They did not discontinue the GMTs. That's actually official now. So all the rumors you guys heard about GMTs being discontinued, I heard it firsthand from somebody at the company who was part of a meeting where he was told that GMTs are not being discontinued. OPs, they discontinued OPs. We've had yellow, coral, green, blue, silver, and Tiffany. Mm-hmm. Now that those are gone, how about orange, purple, light blue? I don't know.
I would like to see the grape coming back in 41.
Grape.
The grape, like mine.
Yeah.
Both colors.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see that because they were super successful with that. Mm-hmm. I would love to see more use of titanium across other models. Now, I don't think we're going to see another Daytona because it just came out with new Daytonas. I don't, unless we see it in some variation of a metal or some kind of a gem set.
Right.
There's going to be some crazy gem set pieces for sure. We're going to see, they've come out with new dials throughout, like they just did the one for the Opera in Vienna, which is a funky dial, and the 36 millimeter. I'm expecting.
I do not like that dial.
Yeah, neither did I. I didn't like that dial either. But guess what? The people are going to go after it like crazy. It's a limited production, and any funky dial. Rolex.
Are they going to go out for it like crazy if they're not a celloist? Or
I guess if
to be determined.
If you weren't in band camp, I guess it's not for you. But definitely we're going to see some really cool dials on 36 millimeters. I wish they brought some cool dials into the 40 millimeter line, because every funky dial that you see out there has always been stuck to that 36 millimeter. It's at this point 36
when you say
millimeter.
Funky, what are you?
I'm talking about stone dials. I'm talking about the cello dial, as you call it, the puzzle dial. It's all 36 millimeters, and they've done that for ages and ages and ages. And if you go backwards to the malachite dials and so on and so forth, give it to me in a bigger dial. But I think that at this point, 36 millimeters is unisex, right? And it has been for a while. I know ladies that wear 41 millimeter presidents.
Right.
Alex's wife wears a 41 millimeter president in platinum, and she's this big.
Right.
It's become a thing. I think do you see a future for a variation of the GMT? We got the Batman, we have the Bear Girl, we have the regular GMT.
Yes, of course.
What do you think what that's going to look like?
I don't know. I need to think about that one. Maybe a two-tone. Do they have that already?
Yeah, we have two-tone.
No, two-tone, like the root beer on Jubilee.
Well, they discontinued that one. That we know. So
the Jubilee root beer.
I don't know if that's going to be but that's, yeah, you're right. I think rose or yellow?
They have it in the yellow.
Right, but
yellow and two-tone.
So we're doing.
But root beer, two-tone.
Rose gold.
Rose gold on Jubilee bracelet.
On Jubilee bracelet. That's not really a big change, but that's what Rolex is known for, small subtle changes. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna expand the titanium line to the GMT line. So, they did the Yachtmaster, and I also would love to see something new in the Yachtmaster line. If you go back to the original Yachtmaster 2 that came out in white gold and yellow gold, I'd love to see that in rose gold. They did the two-tone, they did the stainless steel. I can see that being a titanium, large watch, lighter weight. And when it comes to, I think the Submariner could use an update. It's been a minute.
Like what?
That's the problem, is that updating a Submariner is extremely, extremely difficult, especially in stainless steel, because this looks the same for ages, whether it has a ceramic bezel or non-ceramic bezel.
Right.
It literally always looked the same. I would love to see a Submariner on an Oyster Flex. It would be in a precious metal, I'm assuming, because that's what they do. But I would love to see a Submariner on an Oyster Flex. Just give me a different option for a Submariner.
Right.
You have the deep sea, you have the regular sub, the no date sub, you have the, it's just, or bring back a double red Submariner, in stainless steel. Give me something on a Submariner line, because Submariner, even though it's probably the most popular watch in the world, I would love to see something different from Rolex. What else? Trying to think across models.
Maybe a steel Smurf.
A steel Smurf. But then in lies the problem.
It's the same thing.
The minute you do that, it's like when they did the white gold Pepsi GMT, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, then they first made it look exactly the same, then they gave it a blue dial that you can differentiate, not the biggest change. But one thing is for certain is that when it comes to Rolex, we can expect small incremental changes on already existing things that we've already seen. But I would love to see something wild from Rolex again in the form of those colorful OPs, maybe a rose gold Yachtmaster 2. Give me something new in the precious metals when it comes to even Daytonas. Give me a rose gold Submariner, right? Forget Daytonas. Give me a rose gold Submariner.
That'd be nice.
You know, rose gold Submariner, black dial, something that would be really, really nice. Well, we got to talk about Richard Mille, and we got to talk about the big news that my favorite driver is leaving my favorite team after the season and going to Ferrari.
Is he going to be still your favorite?
Yes, I will follow the driver, but now it's like, what's the definitions of mixed emotion? It's like when your girlfriend tells you, out of all your friends, you have the biggest one, right? So this is kind of how I feel right now with Lewis Hamilton going from the team that I love to a team that I despise, but yet he's still my favorite driver. So I might have to wear 2 jerseys. I don't know yet. Big news for Richard Mille, who is a sponsor of Ferrari, and I cannot wait to see, because you know they're already talking about what kind of watch they're going to make for Lewis Hamilton. Don't put 44 on it. That's his number. That's not going to fly with the Asian market, which is huge in Richard Mille.
Definitely not. Maybe.
We've seen the Nadal line, right? Starting from the automatics to his tourbillons, right? We've seen the Felipe Massa line, which was the earlier on Richard Mille's, the RM11s and things of that nature, right? We've seen specific watches made for golfers, i.e. Bubba Watson. I think Lewis Hamilton is going to be somebody that's going to be deserving of his own. You know, there's a dozen watches you can call Nadal. There's a dozen watches you can call Felipe Massa. There's a few watches you can call Bubba Watsons, right? Bubba's, there's so many variations of them. From the tourbillon, by the way, the last pink tourbillon, that was just home run all around. There's going to be a Lewis Hamilton RM, where people are going to refer to that model for years going as the Hamilton RM, much like you say Nadal or Rafa, much like you say Bubba Watson. And
I can't wait to see that.
I think that Richard Mille will pull out all the stops, and we're going to see a brand new model.
I hope so.
What
Is it going to be round?
No. What that's going to look like, I have no idea. Now, Lewis Hamilton did take part in design of certain watches when it came to IWC. The last tourbillon with the green dial that was created was actually, he had his hands in the design process. And you can kind of tell, you can see, if you know Lewis Hamilton somewhat, somebody you've been following around, you can kind of see his touch on it, right? I can't really explain it, but you can. If you follow a particular movie star, if you follow a particular basketball player, you know, and you get to know them as a human, you kind of know, you can see their touch in things, whether they're designing sneakers, cars, or watches, it doesn't really matter. That one is going to be...
Guess we just have to wait and see.
Who do you think Lewis Hamilton would be a bigger head than Nadal's?
I don't think anything's going to be bigger than Nadal's.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, maybe bigger than Bubba Watson, but maybe not as big as Nadal. You're probably right.
Yeah.
But as far as new models are concerned, and them coming out with new models, as of late, the only thing they need to do is they need to change their distribution tactics. Whenever new models came out, the 72, the 65, they plopped so many out on the market that all of a sudden it lost
too much too soon.
Too much too soon. It lost its appeal. So whatever it is that they put out on the market next, I would love to see I don't want to see a 3504 or 05.
Right,
I don't want to see an RM. I don't want to see an RM1103. I would love to see a redesign of the RM11 of the chronograph. I would love to see what that would look like.
Maybe in yellow gold.
Change the case for me, right? You went from
Something
RM11 to the 03. You changed the case. I'm a fan of both. I'd love for them to go back to somewhere in between the 03 and the original 11.
01.
So. With that said, listen, we can sit here and predict all day. We can talk about Richemont brands. We can talk about Swatch brands. We can sit here and have wishful thinking. But I would love to see you guys comment below what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you what you would like to see, what you predict we will see across the brands that we mentioned, because we also like to get your take on things. Anna, thank you so much for joining me. And do comment below if you think Anna should join me more often versus, let's say, Marco or Adrian. And next week, maybe we'll do it again.
Maybe.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, share, subscribe as always, and we'll see you on the next one.